Greetings, friends. Today's video is number 4 in a 4-part series. We are unpacking, albeit on a very surface level, the very important topic of masculinity. And in this video, we're going to be talking briefly about how to become the man that you were meant to be. The other 3 videos, I'm going to link it to this one. You'll find them in the related videos. We start off with what is the foundation of a good man, and we talk about ancient virtues that have stood the test of time, and that still very much apply to our world today, as crazy and as different as it is to how things used to be. Because of all the craziness, video 2 goes into the hidden things that we don't realize are important to look for that cause leaks in our lives, weaknesses, distractions, digital distraction, drifting through life, not grasping or leaning into finding purpose, pornography, comfort, ease of just the ease of getting so caught up in everyday life and its fast pace that we miss things that are to our detriment as men. And of course, we can't go further unless we start articulating what does the world need from men today. And I think that in the rat race that is really, it really does seem like a rat race, more frantic and more hectic than ever before. A lot of men have just missed out on role models, on knowledge passed down. Many haven't had fathers to pass on these good, wholesome and healthy traits. So it's almost like we at this point, or we have gotten here, where it's like some men need to be reminded of what the actual world needs from real men. And as we conclude today with this last video, it's hard to grapple with and find answers to how you start becoming what you were meant to be. Where do we begin? We know what a good man looks like. We understand what the dangers are that have pulled many men off course, and we've seen the kind of man that the world desperately needs. But knowing these things just feels like theory. And the real question is, how does an ordinary man, just an average guy, average Joe, become that kind of man that he's meant to be, that he is going to benefit those around him? And it's a simple answer and it's a hard answer. It's harder than you expect. It's also simpler than you expect, because there are things that you can do. The theory is all out there. The knowledge is out there. But the hard part is looking at the man staring back from the mirror that you're looking into. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to get uncomfortable? And that's hard for a lot of people, because people don't like to change. And that's where it does become hard. Becoming your best isn't just a once-off life-changing moment and bang, here you are. It's the consistent, disciplined exercising of right choices, many of them uncomfortable, day after day, over and over and over again, thousands of ordinary decisions that you have to be intentional enough to make and carry through on over time. What is the reality of transformation? Because that's what this actually is. A lot of guys seem to wait until they are feeling motivated, or they've read a great book or watched a good movie, before they begin changing, or worse, they are waiting for life and circumstances to be just right. But character isn't built by motivation. It's actually built by repeated right decisions and actions executed over time. And as cliche or as generic as this might sound, the man you become tomorrow is shaped by the habits and decisions that you choose to implement today. I know that it's always easier to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start. But that is already a decision for your not good self, because you're postponing, you procrastinating, you're choosing to not step forward right now for your good. And every time you procrastinate, put off, wait for something, the better time, you are stacking those up. Or if every day you say, I'm going to take that hard step, I'm going to make that right choice, even if it's inconvenient, you also are stacking up things for a better self. And so transformation can be towards good or it can be towards bad. It's what you choose, or it's what you don't choose. But to not choose is still choice. Don't forget that. So, diving in, let us talk about a mission. If you're just drifting through life, going to your 9 to 5, every day is the same. You go to the same store, same food, same meal, same bit of entertainment on the weekend. That seems to be a life of just existing and going through emotions. I can't prove this, but I'm sure that for almost every man who decides to engage in something bigger and better than he is, or that requires his strength, somewhere he is going to gain. Somewhere there's going to be a reward. But you need to find something other than just you to serve and you to meet your needs for you only. If you have a blank mind at hearing me say this, why don't you go out for an afternoon to an old age home and sit with and talk to people who are dying in the hospice care, or who have nobody that will come and see them, nobody who will come and smile at them and just give them somebody to talk to. Why don't you go into a prison and find people who are really, really low and who really need someone to just help them? A few years ago, I chose to go into a maximum prison, and that's a story for another time. But this was a prison like many people don't see. It was a really, really life-changing event. I wanted to see a certain group of guys who I thought I might be able to help. And where I'm creating this video for you in my country, don't break the law here, because if you go to that jail, it's you don't want to go there. And I was in there for 2.5 hours, and I promise you, I was so glad to get out of that place. The air was like sweeter, the sky was bluer. Just to have seen those guys back there behind those hard, cold, grey walls, and I had freedom, really made me appreciate the many things that I actually had that those guys just didn't have and wouldn't have for years. So if you're drawing blanks, just start by doing something uncomfortable that is going to call you out of your comfortable life. And those things are are, are likely to cause you to meet people. They're going to give you ideas. And even if they are just once-off experiences, by and large, they are going to grow you in some way. And that is a small start. So that's worth it. Another one that's going to help you is building habits. Unfortunately, there's no click a button and buy good character. Good character is built over time. Often it builds better, maybe, under struggle and strain and stress and heartbreak. And it is built by you choosing the better way, the best reaction, the most emotional control, turning the other cheek often, stepping in and standing up for somebody who's vulnerable, even if it means going against the popular friendship group or whatever that might be. Character. And habits do go hand in hand over time. If you create the small habits, and that's going to help you with your discipline, and as you build that, you start creating a better structure and a better way of living your life. Waking up when you said that you would wake up, doing those extra reps at the gym, eating a certain food, or skipping out on food that is not good for you. These are all basic things that implemented and built into your day-to-day life. Over time, it's going to compound, and your better self is going to start sharpening up, and you're going to become a little bit more streamlined. And but you can't just buy habits or just have them overnight. You have to practice them, you have to exercise them, you have to set them and stick with it. Small disciplines repeated daily do and can often, and most often, do lead to an extraordinary life. There's an ancient saying, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And as I've mentioned before, a big problem for a lot of men in the Western world is being alone and facing life alone. Men need camaraderie, and preferably good men to be around them. Many of you will have heard these health and wellness particularly finance gurus, say you become like the 5 people that you hang around most with. And I think that is a very, very true saying. Building up a network of 5 really good friends can take time. But I promise you, it's going to be for your good. Especially if you are hanging around 4 or 5 other guys who are stronger than you, more successful than you. Their high up game over time is going to help to raise up your game. And just a word here about that is that a lot of people give up and say, well, I'm trying to be friends with X, Y, Z, but why should I be giving and I don't get anything back? Why must I make all of the effort? And I hear you. I do understand, and I can see where you're coming from. It's quite hard when you have to keep showing up, adding value. But right now, when you are trying to build into those, let's just say, higher up circles, they don't really need you as much as you need them. So I would encourage you to just bite that bit and say, I am going to invest. I am going to keep serving. I am going to make it a habit to try and add value to these guys' lives as selflessly as I possibly can. And more often than not, over time, people will start to notice. And when they start to notice, then doors will often start opening for you. And all that groundwork that you've chosen to do beforehand, everything, every bit of hard work that you've sown into this area will, after time, in due season, start reaping a good harvest. And you hang around those good guys, and in time you're gonna be able to elevate your own game. It's hard to really win in life if you're just gonna stay as an island. We do need mates and people that we can bounce things off and banter with and even compete with. I think that's all very healthy for us guys who are keen to grow and build. Now, we can't talk about this broad subject without talking about character. I did have a bit of a mix-up a bit earlier. Lots of people can get an education and they can develop skills and they can make money. But how you handle that is what is going to reveal whether you've got good character or bad character. And those guys who've got the bad character are spoiled. They just I mean, a person with bad character, we don't need to explain or go into a lot of detail about that. We're focusing on how to develop the good character, and the best and shortest way, and I think that this is a brilliant gauge to use to judge a person's character, including your own, is it's always very easy to be nice and happy and smile and do the right things when everything is going fine and when everything in your life is just great. You've got a good marriage, you're young, you've got youth, you have a nice car, great job. It's very easy to show people that you are a nice person. But character is what's left, or what remains, when titles vanish, when success fades, when marriages break down, kids go AWOL, you lose your job, health problems. That's when you start to see who people really are, when things are not going well. And when your character is who you are when nobody is watching and when things go bad. And if you are a person that becomes nasty and angry and you're losing it when you're in a real bind or a tight spot, I would say that your character probably isn't the shiniest. But you find that person who, thick or thin, come rainstorm, shine, drought, famine, and they keep pitching up consistently with a smile, helping those around them. Good attitude, can still be mannerful, respectful, polite, can still serve other people with a smile. When things are just absolutely unbelievably hard, now that is good character. That is a person who has developed excellent character. And that's what I would prefer to see in myself. And certainly I would like to see it in you, as you build and grow on your journey. Another one, a hard one for many people, is the issue of bitterness and forgiveness. This is an unfair life. Bad things happen to good people. Always. Bad things happen to bad people. Bad things are going to happen because this world is just like that. And people are going to offend you. People are going to cross your will. People will hurt you. Life is just like that. And a lot of people, they will take offense. They will get hurt. And they will harbor a grievance, offense, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. And for a lot of people, that stuff, the offense that they are not dealing with, oftentimes it's just small stuff. I get it, guys. There are absolutely horrific things that happen to people. And it's just evil things happen. It's like, how do you deal with that? Well, I'm a human just like you. And I don't have all of the answers. But I do know what the ideal is. Forgiveness, I'm not sure that you can categorically say it's just a feeling. Forgiveness is also an intentional choice. And often what people do, we do, because I'm also a human being. We take that offense, we hurt, we seethe about it for an hour or a day or 2 or 3 or 5 years or 25 years. And it sometimes feels good to go in and think about just how that person did this to us, did that to us, and how we just wish they were just punished. And in a way, it's like we keep that person in an internal debtor's prison. And here's a painful thing about not being able to forgive people is that, do you know who else is in that debtor's prison with that person who offended you or hurt you? It's you. You are in there as well. As long as you are holding them in some kind of bondage of unforgiveness, like a sort of a internal debtor's prison, you are holding yourself in that prison as well. And that is a weight for you. That's costing you your life. It can be very, very hard. It can be exceedingly painful. On the other side of that, there's lots of things that are actually really quite small in the grand scheme of things. And it's not helping you to hold on to those things. If you can find, I would invite you to consider this way. If there's a bunch of things that are making you angry on a regular basis, non-life threatening stuff, I am telling you, do whatever you can to forgive and let that stuff go. Let those people go. Because I promise you, it's going to bind you in and clamp down your life. And if it's something really, really serious, dark, and evil, I don't know what you have done before or tried. Try and go for some counsel. Try some prayer. Give it your best shot, because I think that there can be a certain healing that takes place inside us when we choose and we exercise the inner strength to let some of that stuff go. And I'm saying that very, very respectfully to you. What is life if you don't have a purpose? You're just drifting. Men, I think, generally do better for the most part when they are finding purpose, when they are walking out a mission, when they've got something big that they're grappling and that they are mastering. Go out there and search, seek, and you will find. Knock on the door will be opened. Ask and you will receive. Your tomorrow self, I really do think, will thank you for taking those right and big and powerful, empowering steps today. Men hate failing by and large, and so for some men, if they can't get it just perfect, they quit. But when you are building anything worthwhile, I think that perfectionism often just becomes chains and impossible weights to carry, impossible heights to rise up to. And it's quite thankless, and it's very, very hard work. Ideally, you want to aim for small, consistent steps over and over and over again, day by day. And that is going to get you progress. And I think that your sense of achievement and fulfillment is far more likely to come by experiencing small steps of progress compared to any one step of getting it perfect. This quest that we're on, it's not a once-off thing. It's not like there's just one goal and we've eventually arrived. It's a lifestyle. And it's choosing to create good habits, sometimes make hard but right choices, wise choices, discipline to keep going and to stay the course, choosing to start doing it today so your tomorrow self can gain and benefit. And if you grow and build and become a better man in a year's time than you are now, people around you are going to be blessed, and you are going to benefit. I promise it's not easy, but I do believe it's going to be worth it. Thank you very much, guys. Please, if you have something that you would like to say, please feel free to put it into the comments, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.